And yo, the Sports Back Bros podcast is coming back on before another weekend of sports. We typically talk about the NFL around this time of year, especially going into Thursday night football. But baseball is still existing. The World Series is still being played. And based on the way things have worked out so far with the World Series, and I've been absentee, but it's becoming one of those classics. As much as 18 innings in one game. What's good?
What's happening? Yeah, there's been some good action in this World Series. You know, the 18-inning game, they played, that's a doubleheader. So they've played 5 games, but you can say they played 6 because 18 innings, that's 2 games. That was crazy. I thought in 2005 when the White Sox and Astros played 16, I thought that was crazy.
Yep.
But you got to give it up, man. You know, I mentioned like a month ago, baseball's about stories. You got Freddie Freeman with the walk-off, getting big hits. You got Shohei Ohtani doing what he's doing. I think he has 3 home runs, maybe 4 home runs in the series. I can't remember. And he pitched game 4. You know, Vlad got him. Vlad Jr. Adios pelota. He got a hold of one. But that was all he gave up. You know, he didn't go 8, but I think he went 6, giving up 2 runs. But you got to give the Blue Jays credit. Their pitching staff is up to the task. And I tell you what, yesterday, that guy, first time seeing him, I'm not even sure if I'm pronouncing his name right. You're Savage. But I'm like, man, homie needs to drop the Y-E and just call himself Savage. Because he was mowing mofos down last night.
I heard about it. Like I said, I hadn't watched the game because I'm still having my pity party about the Yankees not doing a damn thing again. So, but that's one of the dumber things to do, not watch the World Series. You're supposed to have some pride. But yeah, I saw about that savage results that he was getting, just mowing dudes down and couldn't touch him in another close game. And like you said before the series even started, you preferred them being in the series anyway because of them being able to hold up against the Dodgers with the firepower. You know, you got the big bankroll in Los Angeles and Toronto, not the big bankroll, but you have nice plays and damn great plays with Vlad especially. And that's what they're able to do. When they need to score the runs, they get the runs. When they need to hold it down, they get a savage performance and they hold it down.
Well, I think
Ohtani says he's willing to go. Ohtani says he'll come off the bench. He'll come out of the bullpen if they need him. He's going to probably have to, all hands on deck.
Well, I think the thing with Toronto is they locked up their own players. You know, Bichette came up, they signed him. Vlad Jr. came up, they signed him. As opposed to the Dodgers, they want to get rid of Dodgers. Detroit Tigers, they want to get rid of Scooble now. Dodgers want everybody. But the Tigers, you know, they get this young pitcher, and now they're talking about they're going to trade him away. We all know the Rays, they can't sign anybody. They develop all these players for the rest of the league. But Toronto, you know, they did the right thing. And you don't think about Toronto as being a big market, but their owner, huh?
It's in Canada. It's not that huge a market. You talk about the dollar value up there as well, and the taxes too for the players who play there. That's a lot of reasons why teams don't like going up to the Canada.
Right. But, you know, their owner, he's like, he recognizes they have good players. You're going to lock them up, and they're 1 game away from winning the World Series. Only thing is they got to go against Yamamoto in game 6.
Yeah, I heard, man.
That dude's a badass. But you never know. You know, Snell, who was pitching last night, he's a decent pitcher, but, you know, he's not what he used to be.
I was about to say that.
But, you know, first pitch, was it the first pitch? Yeah, first pitch fastball, gone. Ball to Vlad. Second pitch, gone. 2-0. Like, they just jumped on him
back
so
to
quickly.
Back, belly to belly. The first time in World Series history. From what I heard, that the back-to-back home runs to start for World Series.
I think to start the game, yeah. But it's happened before. And they're doing this without George Springer.
Exactly.
So you got to tip your hat to the Blue Jays, man. They're giving Dodgers everything and then some.
It's a legitimate small market team, and you look at the payroll isn't out of control. And you mentioned the Tampa Bay Rays. I think they have one of the best front offices in all of freaking baseball. I've been saying that for years. It's just that they can't sign any of their players. You know, their team, their major league team is the farm system for the freaking Major League Baseball. That's it.
Right.
You know,
what I don't understand is you hear this franchise is thinking about moving, that franchise is thinking about moving. The Rays need to think about moving.
Oh, the Rays are, well, they're staying in Tampa. They're getting their new stadium. You know what happened to Tropicana? They played at the Yankees minor league George Steinbrenner Field this past season. You know, the small capacity, but it's just about as many as they was getting anywhere at the Trop. But they're relocating, but they're not going to be in St. Pete. They're kind of moving up a little bit to probably in Tampa somewhere. I can't remember what it is, but yeah, they'll have a better park and maybe more people coming to the games. I don't know, because if you went to the Trop and the location of where the Trop is and how congested it can be in that small area, difficult to get in there. As good as their team is, I know people that for all those games throughout the season, 81 games throughout the season at home, they don't want to go through that traffic and deal with that crap in that nonsensical area. And, it's not exactly the best area either. People don't want to do that. It's not like in New York where Yankee Stadium is in the South Bronx, which is one of the worst parts, but it's just so historic. People love it, and nothing really happens there. I guess the police presence matter as well. But yeah, it's they'll have their new stadium, and hopefully they get some support, because I would hate to see them lose Tampa, but they do deserve better.
Are there a lot of baseball fans in Tampa?
When the Yankees come, a bunch of baseball fans now. The Yankee fans are the Tampa Bay fans.
Half of them are Yankees fans. That don't count. I'm talking about
Rays. And like when they go, and they use the Yankees spring training field, the George Steinbrenner Field. They use that for their regular season field this year because the Trop is still wrecked after the storm. Right. So you're still going to get those Yankee fans coming out who just want to watch Major League Baseball.
So at some point during the summer, we were talking about Ohtani. And I said, I would love to see him hit the go-ahead home run in the top of the ninth and then come in and close out the bottom of the ninth. I don't want to see it. I want the Blue Jays to win. I don't want to see it. Not this year. But imagine if he did that in Game 7. Like, let's say Yamamoto shuts down the Blue Jays. Dodgers win 4-1, 3-1, 2-0, whatever. Game 7. It's tight game, man on base, Dodgers down 1, and Ohtani goes yard to give them the lead. And they need somebody to close it out. If Ohtani came in and closed it out, I would almost suggest he retire. Like, it can't get better than that. What else could you fucking do? Like, I hit the home run to give us the lead, and I close it out 1, 2, 3. Like, he would be at the pinnacle of baseball. Like, there's nowhere to go but down after that.
I'm in some hellified baseball groups, one in particular where these dudes know everything. I mean, I see these other groups where people talk about whether it's basketball or other sports, and you can tell that they know some basketball, but they're trying to sell it as if they're some type of an expert, and you can see how they fall short and they make these nonsensical arguments. This baseball group, these dudes know. These guys are like Hall of Fame ballot guys, and that's how it comes across. And some of the older guys in there don't want to give up the props when it comes to Ohtani being as good as he is compared to Babe Ruth. They don't want to give it up. And when someone says it, you see them just come from under the rock, and they just got to stand up for Babe Ruth's honor. And you have to come up with some real truths, man. And
it's weird.
In regards to how true it is, they don't want to hear it. I'm like, yo, bro, Babe Ruth, and he's a Yankee. We're going to always love Babe Ruth in New York. I think baseball loves Babe Ruth because of who he was and how he done it. But he didn't play against the world, man. And we see how talented the rest of the world is. And Ohtani's doing that. And all these other present-day players are doing it, playing against everybody, and they're still on top of their game. Now, if you're on top of your game, there's no question that you're the top player or on top of your game. Back then, if you was on top of your game then, there's still questions of, okay, so how would he done against Satchel Paige in his prime? And you got those questions they don't want to answer, then they get nasty about it, then it goes down the rabbit hole.
Right. And Satchel Paige was damn near 50 years old when he got his chance in the Major League Baseball. But I don't understand it, because unless you're having a debate, Babe Ruth versus Shohei Ohtani, why do you get offended if somebody's recognizing what Ohtani is doing?
Like, that's another
there
thing.
Shouldn't be Ohtani's great, but no, there shouldn't be a but. Like, he's the best in the game right now. He's the best baseball player in the world.
He's the best player because he's doing every damn thing. Some dudes are good hitters, and they may play the field well. This dude's pitching, he's hitting and doing the field. He's doing everything. He's all points that you need in a baseball player, and he's the consummate baseball player. We talk about Aaron Judge. He's a hell of a slugger, even though his average is now off the chart too for a slugger. And we talked about even Barry Bonds at his best, even though it was PED induced, he was still talked about as being a slugger. He wasn't talking about how many times he put the bat on the ball. They went out of the yard most of the time, but they walked him a lot, so his on base percentage was high as hell. But Ohtani, he doesn't fear anything. He hits the ball, he swings the bat, and man, you have fear watching him play if you're the opposing team.
He's like a little league player, man. You know, in little league,
Danny Almonte.
in little league, you know, the best player pitches. The best player, you can't get him out. He plays shortstop or he plays the out. You know, in baseball, he plays right field. He's like a grown up little leaguer, man. He put him wherever you want to, and he's going to excel. Now, as far as Barry Bonds, before his hat size grew 3 sizes,
he was a great player.
He was still gold glove winner. He still hit 40 home runs. He still stole 40 bases, whatever. You know, he did all that stuff. He was a great player before.
But Barry Bonds, it was all ego because it was at that time when even Brady Anderson was hitting it out of the park, and they was talking about how great he was, and all these other players started using the juice. And I think that Barry Bonds, being the egomaniac that he is, because you don't get that good without having an ego, that's just how it goes. Michael Jordan has the freaking ego that made him how he is, and you see, he's like, man, these guys getting away with it. They're getting all this credit they don't deserve, and I'm probably still not getting the credit I think I deserve from being as good as I am without the juice. How is it when I put the juice on? When I get the juice, and we saw what happened. The dude was an absolute terror, killing it. And they did save baseball as well, even though it was Sosa and McGuire that kind of started it all. It was a Bonds when it came down to just immortalizing it once again.
Here's something crazy regarding Barry Bonds. It's not an exact stat, but something like how many times was Aaron Judge intentionally walked this year? Whatever number it was, 22 or 33, I don't know. You have to add up 6 or 7 seasons to add up to the amount that Barry Bonds was walked in the most times he was walked in one season.
They didn't know what to do with him.
Right.
I remember every time I looked around, McCovey Cove, dudes are just hanging out in the canoes. They're just hanging out in the canoes or the kayaks, waiting for the ball to come. And it was a guaranteed theater. And the best pitchers were even afraid of him. I mean, they tried to come at him, and you know they'll come inside, and he gives you the stupid look. You know that he might want to go to the mound after you and all that. But Barry Bonds was something else then. But Ohtani, man, come on now. What more can you say about him? You can't continue to just regular words don't describe what he's doing out there. And the fact, like you said, people are questioning him or upset that he's doing what he's doing because it's tainting someone that they're
even bringing up the betting situation now because of what's going on with the NBA.
I saw it just the other day too. The bet, I'm like, man, they trying to throw this dude under the bus, and it wasn't him though. It wasn't him doing the betting.
And you can't tell that to some people.
They don't want to hear it, and they're like boxing fans. They don't want to hear what they don't want to hear. They'll pound on what they think they can make a case for, and even if that sounds nonsensical, if it's their guy, they're just going to stand by it. But anyways, this baseball.
Watch game 6 and 7, Trav. You won't
want to know because I'm hearing too much nonsense. Like 18 innings, too much nonsense.
I'm saying it as a given because Yamamoto is tough on that mound.
Bro,
you never know. Sure. Blue Jays might get a great pitching performance too and just scratch out a couple runs. It could be over. We'll see.
Yeah, I hope so, man. I'll get a chance to check it out. At least I got into it before it completely ended and just happened to got to watch some sports history channel to figure out what went on, back in the day with classic sports and whatnot. But he's biased. I'm Trav, the Sports Bag Bros podcast is going away until there's a World Series winner because by the time we get back, there probably should be one. But until then, do